I want to show you guys, we got a breaking report from the New York Times. They title it, Videos Contradict Trump Administration Account of ICE Shooting in Minneapolis. And surprise, surprise, what do they say? In the video, they say the officer was not struck. They say that he was clear of the vehicle, then he shot her. It's a lie. So I'm going to play the video from the New York Times and show you exactly what they said. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of things. First, we have this video, which of course we showed yesterday, but I want to play as much as I can to make sure everybody understands what was actually going on. I'm going to play this for you now, and then I'm going to do a quick analysis before we get into the bulk of the story. All right, so the quick analysis. First, the officer who does the shooting is standing to the right front of the vehicle. The SUV reverses with its wheels pointed leftward, making it curve to the right. At the same time, the officer looks like he makes about a step to his right. This aligns both of them in one direction. It's not a question of why was the officer standing in front of the car. The car turned and it put him in front of the vehicle. Then, the most important part, while the wheels are aimed leftward, they spin out. There you go. We've showed it a million times. Here's the front tire spinning on ice before accelerating straight forward briefly. This is an officer hearing an engine rev, not seeing the tires, and the car jerks forward a little bit. He then draws the gun, and most importantly, the vehicle makes contact with him. How do we know? Quite simply, when you see the officer's feet, his leg right here, slide across the ground. See his feet sliding? It's unless he jumped and slid his feet back, which is not what happened. The vehicle made contact with him, which you've already seen in other videos, and then he shoots. Now, before I show you the New York Times video, I want to show you this video. Viewer discretion is advised. A female officer in Baltimore standing much in the same place as this ICE agent with their gun drawn.
As the Jeep continued to advance, Officer Caprio got off one shot. WJZ won't show the rest, but a somber jury saw and heard Amy Caprio dying from massive crushing injuries.
In this video, a video that's going viral, she's standing at about the same angle to the right of the front of the vehicle, gun drawn, and she dies in a second, getting crushed by the criminal. Now that you understand that, here's what the New York Times is presenting, and watch how they speed things up. Warning, the video includes graphic info.
On Wednesday, in Minneapolis, a federal agent fatally shot a motorist,
Oh, wow.
37-year-old Renee Nicole Good. Trump administration officials said these were, quote, defensive shots, fired because the officer was being run over.
And a woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over.
But our analysis of bystander footage, filmed from different angles, appears to show the agent was not in the path of the victim's SUV when he fired 3 shots at close range.
Now, I want to point a few things out. The language the New York Times is using is carefully chosen and edited to manipulate you. When they say run over. Now, the first thing I'll do is criticize the Trump administration and Trump himself, which I did yesterday, for saying he was run over, which is not correct. And as predicted, it's being weaponized by the left to claim Trump's a liar. But outside of that, I can explain how they are lying. They combine two distinct statements, that the individual was trying to run him over and that he wasn't in the path. This is a non sequitur. The vehicle, as we've already shown, accelerated towards the officer with its wheels pointed slightly left, putting the officer in reasonable fear of being run over, for which DHS said she tried to run him over. After he draws his weapon, the wheels then turn to the right. So these are distinct. Him not being in the path has nothing to do with whether or not she tried to run him over.
Victim's SUV when he fired 3 shots at close range. Here's how events unfolded.
Let's skip ahead to the first part of the shooting, actually.
Then, federal vehicles start moving toward the maroon SUV, with sirens and lights blaring. A federal agent films the scene on his phone. The driver rolls forward slightly, turning left. then stops and waits for others to go ahead. Two agents exit this silver pickup and walk toward the vehicle. Moments later, shots are fired. Let's look at the scene again more closely.
You hear him say, "Get out of the car."
This is the agent who shoots the driver. He walks around the car filming and disappears from view. Other agents pull up and order the driver to exit her vehicle.
Several times.
One of them grabs at the door handle and reaches inside. The SUV reverses, then turns right, apparently attempting to leave.
Now,
Flees the scene.
But you see what he's doing?
Yeah.
He's skipping over what everyone can see, the tires here.
Turns right, apparently attempting.
Skid forward. The officer in front can't see what the woman is doing. And in a split second, as he draws his weapon, the wheels then begin to turn right. I believe the woman saw the gun and jerked the wheel to the right.
To leave. At the same time, the agent filming crosses toward the left of the vehicle and grabs his gun.
Because the
He
vehicle
opens fire
accelerated
on
towards
the
him.
motorist and continues shooting as she drives past. The moment the agent fires, he is standing here, to the left of the SUV.
Oh, wow.
And the wheels are pointing to the right,
That's so
away
dishonest.
from the agent.
And they stop it. And they don't.
This appears to conflict with allegations that the SUV was ramming or about to ram the officer.
No, it doesn't. These people are evil. That's why, you know what I did? The reason why I showed you the video before this one, it's information vaccination. Because you'd watch this and you'd hear this and you'd process it. But when you actually look at the video in slow motion, we can see a few things. He's in front of the vehicle. We can see that while his feet are here, his feet slide.
Yeah.
Sliding because the vehicle made contact with him. More importantly, this part right here is the tires spin. See the wheels spinning? That's the car about to ram him, but because of the ice, it's unable to. I don't believe the woman was trying to run an agent over. I think she was trying to escape and didn't care if she did.
Yep.
President Trump and others said the
Here's where it
federal
gets
agent
juicy.
was hit by the SUV,
And
often
he
pointing
was.
to another video filmed from a different angle. And it's true that at this moment in this grainy low-resolution footage, it does look like the agent is being struck by the SUV.
Okay, wait. This is very, very important. I got to play this for you again. I want you to absorb what the man is saying.
And it's true that at this moment in this grainy low-resolution footage, it does look like the agent is being struck
Reject
by
the evidence
SUV.
of your eyes and ears.
I'm sorry, I need to play this again because it's very important people hear exactly what he is saying.
And it's true that at this moment in this grainy low-resolution footage, it does look like the agent is being struck by the SUV.
It does look like the agent is being struck by the SUV. Now, do you believe the New York Times will come out and say he was not struck by the SUV? He casted doubt as to whether or not he was by saying it looks like he was. Certainly, it does look like he was. And he slides on the ground because he was. He wasn't run over. He wasn't critically injured, but he was hit by the SUV, and I would call it minor. Now listen to what the New York Times says next.
But when we synchronize it with the first clip, we can see the agent is not being run over. And
we can see the agent is not being run over. Now, hold on. This is a classic planned manipulation technique for sales and persuasion. Assumptive language. He said two different things, okay?
was hit by the SUV. This appears to Trump and others said the federal agent was hit by the SUV.
Hit by and run over are completely different.
Often pointing to another video filmed from a different angle. And it's true that at this moment in this grainy low-resolution footage, it does look like the agent is being struck by the
Being
SUV.
struck.
But when we synchronize it with the first clip, we can see the agent is not being run over.
Run over. He has presented two distinct, unrelated situations to trick people who don't understand. He said it looks like he's being hit, but upon inspection, he's not being run over. Well, that's true. He's not being run over. But the point of phrasing it that way is so that the general public will think in their mind, the dots they connect is he actually was not hit at all.
In fact, his feet are positioned away from the SUV. The SUV crashes into a white car parked down the road. A bystander runs toward the collision.
Now, the reason why we cover things like this, it is not an accident. This was intentional. They wrote these things down and crafted this language intentionally to manipulate you. I want to show you this context as well from the New York Post. ICE agent who opened fire on Renee Good was dragged and hospitalized by a illegal migrant driver last year. I don't know if we have we do. Here's the image of the ICE agent. I believe this is, they're giving the guy's name. ICE agent opened fire, was hospitalized. And then this photo says, a photo shared by CBS Minnesota showed ICE agent Jonathan Ross laid in a hospital bed displaying his arms, once covered in blood from deep gashes. The presumption is, yeah. So they released his name, I guess. This guy had gotten 33 stitches and had dragged 330 feet previously when in a similar situation. ICE has faced several terror attacks over the past year. I don't believe this one was intending to kill anybody. I just believe she didn't care if she rammed him in her escape. She did strike him. The New York Times, they are activists, they are liars, and I tell you how deep this runs. The guy speaking didn't just write this, record it, and publish it. It went through legal. It went through their editorial department, and I'm sure he's got a couple other people who worked on it. In fact, I bet there's credits. Here we go. Let's see the credits. How do you get rid of this stupid thing? You can't? There we go. Devin Lum, Robin Stein, Ainara Tieflenthaler, editor, Courtney Brooks, and Mark Scheffler. All of these people coordinated the exact message to trick the public into thinking ICE murdered a woman for no reason. And the most egregious point, of course, is when he says, it does look like the officer was hit, but upon closer inspection, he wasn't run over. Now, people are going to hear that and think, whoa, he wasn't actually hit, because they're manipulating you. That's the game they're playing.
I mean, this has become boilerplate for the left, at least for the media. That's kind of why people have largely turned away from the legacy media, at least, is because they know that the stories are not intended to inform you. They're intended to tell you what you're supposed to think. And it's, basically it's one narrative. And if you go to CNN, you'll get the same kind of narrative. If you go to maybe not ABC and CBS anymore, or what Bearways is at CBS, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe not CBS, but NBC and ABC, you're gonna get the same narrative. So that's why you're seeing CBS doing what they're doing is because this narrative doesn't fly with people anymore. MSNBC or MS Now, like these channels, these news organizations, they're just activists and they're just trying to propagate a message.
Yeah. What's important here, like with the New York Times, why the New York Times specifically them conducting themselves in such an egregious matter, because a lot of people in the audience are saying, well, who cares what the New York Times has to say, because like who's even reading it anymore? It's no longer the paper of record, so to speak. Why this matters is because in Washington, D.C., this is like how Beltway politics works, is the majority of these Democrat staffers, maybe not the Congress people themselves, but the people that are staffing them and like writing the policy, they read the New York Times. They listen to the New York Times products. So they are hearing this, and this is what they are perceiving to be true. So again, it's easy for us in the audience, especially people here on Rumble or whatnot in this kind of alt media space, to just ignore them and say, why does it even matter what they say anymore? Because they're a dying business, which is true. But there's a lot of people that are fairly influential that are not terribly smart that will literally get their programming from the New York Times. And so that's why it actually is extremely relevant what information they're putting out, because for a large group of not insignificant amounts of people, they are still the paper of record.
They're the people that consume 2 hours of news a week because they watch 30 minutes here, 30 minutes there.
I don't think they consume news at all.
Well, I mean, if they're to be able to see this stuff, they have to consume some news.
I think what happens is millions of people read the New York Times and then go tell their friends, and most of these people just hear it from some guy.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I've come out of corporate America. Like, there's always that one guy in the office who perceives himself to be the arbiter of like the latest news. He prides himself off of being this wonk and this news junkie. Yeah. And he's typically a dork, and that's why people actually kind of listen to him. And he's the type of guy that's going to disseminate any information that he hears from the New York Times because he perceives it to be like a position of authority. And with their snappy editing, it's very like kind of well packaged and these sorts of things. It feels authoritative, and especially for these people that are midwits, they're going to see that and go, wow, this must be true. I mean, President Trump, he's so kitschy and there's no way that he could possibly be on the money here. So
A big thing that they're missing when they do this whole report is that reasonable fear of imminent deadly force justifies self-defense. And they have left out completely that part about what that cop was seeing. He was seeing a person who's... Oh, I suck tonight. Okay, so he's seeing... So did you hear any of that? All right.
Yeah.
So reasonable fear of imminent deadly force justifies using self-defense. And what he was seeing is this woman, crazy or not, she's repeatedly ignoring the order, get out of the car, get out of the car, get out of the car. And she has 2 tons of steel and 200 horsepower that she's turned into a weapon and is pointing at him. But they, skip over that part. What we're seeing as a libertarian, we're seeing the libertarian faction split on this because we're seeing ICE bad, open borders good, and that's versus the people who are like self-defense is good, So whether he was a cop is not relevant to this in particular, and I know some people are going to have a problem with that, but it's not. He's a human being.
The debate just doesn't even matter. We're so far past argument at this point.
Yes, and people will say, okay, well, so do you feel that way about Ashley Babbitt? Like you must think that was justified. It's like, no, she wasn't pointing 2 tons of steel at the cop. She was unarmed. She was this one tiny little woman that was unarmed who got shot for no reason. Like, no, those are not the same thing.
But you're not going to convince the Krasensteins you're right.
No,
There's
of course
no
not.
point in even having the debate. We can just literally say Ashley Babbitt was on our side, so it's wrong.
Yes.
There's literally we could say something rational like Ashley Babbitt stepped up on the trim and looked through a window, got shot in the face, shot in the neck. That's crazy. This one was behind the wheel of a car and accelerated towards an officer. They're very different. Doesn't matter. We're not convincing anybody. The people on the right are already like, ICE is doing their job, you got in the way, and Ashley Babbitt was unarmed. And the left is already saying, we don't care, Ashley Babbitt was an insurrectionist, and this woman's allowed to drive her car at ICE agents.
Yeah, I mean, I grabbed that little clip where you can see the guy's legs slide, and where you can see you see the spin, and then you see the weight transfer. The ass end of the SUV kind of dips a little bit because of the weight transfer, because she starts accelerating. Like, people didn't care. They're just like, no, that's all blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter.
Well, there's that viral post from that female claiming to be a lawyer where she just lied about literally everything, got millions of views.
Yeah.
Well, it's all manipulative language. And she starts by saying, I'm a former defense attorney with no political dog in this fight, and I watched the video 10 times, and I can tell you. And then she goes on, lie about everything.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, like, you're a defense attorney. If you were a prosecutor, you might have a different perspective. You might be actually looking at, well, maybe how would you justify what the police did? Because to be honest with you, with the police officer in front of the car and the car moving forward, doesn't matter where the wheels were turned, doesn't matter anything like that. The police officer's in front of the car is moving forward. That's justified. Mm-hmm. It's justified use of force. Yeah. It's that simple. The car is moving forward. The police officer is in front of the car. That's it.
This manipulated language is designed to target people who are just like this woman who got hit. She's a limousine liberal, she's a middle-aged white woman, and she's got this suicidal empathy. And they also, I think, to some extent, believe that there's been a chilling effect because of George Floyd for whether or not they could potentially get shot. Like, no cop's going to want to do that. You saw what happened to that. Mm-hmm. And then they also believe that the celebrities are going to bail them out. So why not? But speaking as a mother who's around her age, who has three children, this was not rationally done. When you're a parent, you put your children before anything else. In the idea of going down to this, like, I believe she's been brainwashed, like Tim had said. I believe that this woman she was dating did brainwash her to become an activist. There's no amount of anything that could make me risk my life and leave my children here. That just wouldn't happen as a rational thinking person. Mm-hmm. So I believe that there was some other aspect that was brainwashing her, and whether it be the news, whether it be the woman that she was with, I don't know, but that's not something that a mother does. She did not put her children first that day.
Yeah, and to set the scene for this whole thing, like, what people are forgetting, how did all of this start in Minneapolis in the first place? It was literally Nick Shirley walking out with the camera exposing the very obvious fraud going on in Minneapolis, and then Kirsty Noem saying, yeah, we kind of need to send a message in Minneapolis, so we're going to deploy 3,000 DHS agents. That's how all of this started. So these people are quite literally willing to put their bodies on the line for people that absolutely hate them, that want to defraud them, take their country away from them. And then on the flip side, they celebrate the death of a husband, a father, a patriot. So it's like, we're post debate. There's no debate to be had. This is a team sport at this point. And I'm sorry to any of the audience that's like thinking we can debate our way out of this. We can argue our way out of this. Maybe we just need to like come up with a better idea in the marketplace of ideas. You know what their idea that they're selling in the marketplace of ideas is kill you. That's their idea. It's very simple. At the very least, the more generous people, their idea is let's defraud you and take your country away from you.
Gulags. They've said.
And the right is let's try and have an argument to win an election.
Yeah.
Well, the right.
Actually, I'm sorry. The retard right is I don't know what's going on, but Israel's bad.
Yeah.
Then the Republicans are like, well, let's propose a new budget to help deal with this.
Yeah. It's literally Trump like, hey, we need to use the executive power. The retard right saying, let's just accelerate our way out of this. It's like, yeah, that worked so great in South Africa. And then like the rest of the Republican Party that's like, maybe we need a new discretionary budget. I think that might be the way out of this. And potentially we can have some sort of cocktail debate hour. And then we can potentially NPR our way out of this.
I would hope that some of the more the handful of based Congress people in Congress are having some influence. I mean, you look at the administration, right? At least the Trump administration, the executive branch. Most of the people in the executive branch are far closer to having their finger on the pulse than anyone in Congress.
Oh, absolutely. For good reason, because they have to like make it through a primary that people actually have eyeballs on, where these congressmen, they just slip through with like one opposition. And there's like a few, Mary Miller came out and she was like, invoke the Insurrection Act, arrest Tim Walz. Like a few of them are good on this issue, but the vast majority of them are like still hung up on you name it.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.